From translation, NIV New International Version. This 273 day of the year. Today we are reading passages Zechariah 8 to 14. Zechariah chapter 8, verses 1 to 23. The word of the Lord Almighty came to me. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I am very jealous for Jerusalem. I am also jealous for Zion. This is what the Lord says. I will return to Zion and dwell there, and Jerusalem will be called my holy city. For the mountain of the Lord Almighty will be called the holy mountain. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Old men and old women will again sit in the streets of Jerusalem, each with staff in hand because of their advanced age. The city streets will be filled with boys and girls playing there. This is what the Lord Almighty says. If it seems difficult in the eyes of the remnant of this people in these days, will it seem difficult to me, declares the Lord Almighty. This is what the Lord Almighty says. I will save my people from the countries of the east and the west. I will bring them back to live in Jerusalem. They will be my people, and I will be their God in faithfulness and truth. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Let your hands be strong, you who are hearing these words today from the mouths of the prophets who were there, when the foundation was laid for the house of the Lord Almighty. For in those days before, there was no wage for man or beast, nor was there any safety from the enemy for those who came or went, because I had turned everyone against his neighbor. But now I will not be a remainder to the people of Jerusalem and the house of Judah as I was in the former days, but I will deal with the remnant of this people with favor. Their time for reaping will come quickly. And as you have been a curse among the nations, house of Judah and house of Israel, so I will save you, and you will be a blessing. Do not be afraid, but let your hands be strong, for this is what the Lord Almighty says. Just as I intended to do good to you, so now I will again do good to you, and I will make this place prosperous. Do not be afraid, you who have heard my words in former days, when Israel and Judah and all their people were laid low by sword and famine. These are the things you are to do. Speak the truth to one another, and render true and blameless judgments in your gates. Do not plot evil against your neighbors, or covet the things they have. Do not desire their prosperity. The word of the Lord Almighty came to me. The Lord says, the fasts of the 4th, 5th, 7th and 10th months will become joyful and glad occasions and happy festivals for Judah. Therefore love truth and peace. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Many people and the inhabitants of many cities will yet come. The inhabitants of one city will go to another and say, let us go at once to make supplication to the Lord, and seek the Lord Almighty. I myself am going. This is what the Lord Almighty says. In those days 10 men from every language and nation will take hold of one Jew by the hem of his robe and say, we want to go with you, because we have heard that God is with you. Zechariah chapter 9, verses 1 to 17. A prophecy. The word of the Lord is against the land of Hadrach, and will rest on Damascus for the eyes of mankind, and all the tribes of Israel are turned to the Lord. Tyre and Sidon, though they are very skilled, will be like the dust of the sea. Tyre will be plundered, and its riches will be pillaged, despite her very many proverbs and charms. The Lord will dispossess her and cast her terrors into the sea, and she will be consumed by fire. Ashkelon will see it and fear. Gaza will writhe in agony. Ekron will lose its hope. Gaza will be bereft of her king, and Ashkelon of her prince. Foreigners will occupy Ashkelon, and I will destroy the pride of the Philistines. I will take from their mouths the bloody meat and idols, and from between their teeth the vile things found on their lips. Those who remain will belong to God, and they will be like leaders in Judah, and Ekron like the Jebusites. But I will encamp at my temple to protect it from marauding forces. Never again will an oppressor overrun and lay waste my people, for now I keep watch. Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion. Shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and having salvation, gentle and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey. I will take away the chariots from Ephraim and the war horses from Jerusalem, and the battle bow will be broken. He will proclaim peace to the nations. His dominion will extend from sea to sea, and from the river to the ends of the earth. As for you, because of the blood of my covenant with you, I will free your prisoners from the waterless pit. Return to your stronghold, O prisoners of hope. Even now I announce that I will restore twice as much to you. For I will bend Judah as my bow, I will make Ephraim its arrow. I will stir up your sons, O Zion, against your sons, O Greece, and make you like a mighty warrior. The Lord will appear over them, his arrow will flash like lightning. The sovereign Lord will sound the trumpet. He will march in the storms of the south. The Lord Almighty will shield them. They will destroy and overcome with slingstones. They will drink and roar as with wine. They will be full like bowls used for sprinkling the blood of the sacrifice. The Lord their God will save them in that day as the flock of his people. They will sparkle in his land like jewels in a crown. How attractive and beautiful they will be. Grain will make the young men flourish, and new wine the young women. Zechariah chapter 10, verses 1 to 12. Ask the Lord for rain in the springtime. It is the Lord who makes the storm clouds, who provides the showers of rain for the land, who makes the grass grow on the hills. The idols speak deceitfully, the diviners see visions that lie, they tell dreams that are false, they give comfort in vain. Therefore the people wander like sheep oppressed by lack of a shepherd. My anger burned against the shepherds, and I punished the leaders. For the Lord Almighty has care for his flock, the house of Judah, and will make them like a proud horse in battle. From Judah will come the cornerstone, from him the tent peg, from him the battle bow, from him every ruler. They will be like mighty men, trampling the mud of the streets in battle. They will fight because the Lord is with them, and they will put to shame the riders on horses. I will strengthen the house of Judah and save the house of Joseph. I will restore them because I have compassion on them. They will be as if I had not rejected them, for I am the Lord their God, and I will answer them. The Ephraimites will become like mighty men, and their hearts will be glad as with wine. Their children will see it and rejoice. Their hearts will be glad in the Lord. I will signal for them and gather them in. I will save them from being dispersed, and they will be as numerous as before. Though I scatter them among the nations, yet in distant lands they will remember me. They and their children will survive and return. I will bring them back from Egypt and gather them from Assyria. I will bring them to Gilead and Lebanon, and there will not be room enough for them. They will pass through the sea of distress and be struck by the waves of the sea. The depths of the Nile will dry up, and the pride of Assyria will be humbled. The Lord will strengthen them, and they will not rebel. With the Lord I will strengthen them, and they will bear my name. Zechariah chapter 11, verses 1 to 17. Open your doors, Lebanon, that fire may devour your cedars. Wail, cypress tree, for the cedar has fallen. The mighty trees have been laid low. Wail, oaks of Bashan, for the dense forest has been cut down. There is the sound of wailing shepherds because their glory is laid low. There is the sound of roaring lions because the pride of the Jordan is laid low. Their buyers slay them and go unpunished. Their sellers curse, but I will no longer hear them. I will no longer save them from their greedy hands, for I will no longer show pity to this land. I will no longer have compassion on this nation, declares the Lord. So I shepherded the flock with an intention to kill, with a rod suited for a lamb or a kid. In 1 month I got rid of 3 shepherds, but I grew weary of them, and they grew weary of me. So I said, I will no longer shepherd you. Let the dying die, and the lost be lost. Let those who are left devour one another's flesh. I took my staff called favor and broke it, revoking the covenant I had made with all the nations. It was revoked on that day, and so the afflicted of the flock who were watching me knew that it was the word of the Lord. I told them, if you think it best, give me my pay, but if not, keep it. So they paid me 30 pieces of silver. And the Lord said to me, throw it to the potter, the handsome price at which they priced me. I took the 30 pieces of silver and threw them into the house of the Lord to the potter. The Lord told me, take again the equipment of a foolish shepherd. For I am going to raise up a shepherd over the land who will not care for the lost, or seek the young, or heal the injured, or feed the healthy, but will devour the meat of the fat ones and tear off their hoofs. Woe to the worthless shepherd who deserts the flock. May the sword strike his arm and his right eye. May his arm wither away and his right eye go dark. Zechariah chapter 12, verses 1 to 14. This is the message of the Lord concerning Israel. The Lord, who stretches out the heavens, who lays the foundation of the earth, and who forms the human spirit within a person, declares, I will make Jerusalem a cup that causes all the peoples around her to reel. Judah will also be besieged as Jerusalem. On that day, when all the nations of the earth are gathered against her, I will make Jerusalem an immovable rock for all of them. All who try to move it will tear themselves to pieces, though all the peoples of the earth will be gathered against it. On that day, the Lord will strike with confusion all the horses of the nations and the horses of their riders. The eyes of all the leaders of the nations will be blinded. The leaders of Judah will say in their hearts, the people of Jerusalem are my strength in the Lord Almighty, their God. On that day I will make the leaders of Judah like a firepot in a woodpile, like a flaming torch among sheaves. They will devour all the peoples around them, though they will still be like drunkards. The Lord will save the tents of Judah first, so that the glory of the house of David and of Jerusalem may not be greater than that of Judah. On that day the Lord will shield those who live in Jerusalem, so that the feeblest among them will be like David, and the house of David will be like God, like the angel of the Lord going before them. On that day I will set out to destroy all the nations that attack Jerusalem, and I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication. They will look on me, the one they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only child, and grieve bitterly for him, as one grieves for a firstborn son. On that day the wailing in Jerusalem will be as great as the wailing of Hadad-rimmon in the plain of Megiddo. The land will mourn, each clan by itself, the clan of the house of David by itself and their wives by themselves. The clan of the house of Nathan by itself and their wives by themselves. The clan of the house of Levi by itself and their wives by themselves. The clan of the Shimei by itself and their wives by themselves. And all the clans of the others by themselves and their wives by themselves. Zechariah chapter 13, verses 1-9. On that day a fountain will be opened to the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, to cleanse them from sin and uncleanness. On that day I will banish the names of the idols from the land, and they will no longer be remembered. I will remove from the land both their idols and their detestable images. And if a prophet or a priest or anyone else speaks in the name of the Lord, I will strike him and his household with curses. But a prophet so humble that his message is only a dream, and not from me, will be exposed as an impostor. But he will say, I am no prophet, I am a peasant. I was purchased as a young man and have not been a prophet. And if anyone asks him, what are these wounds on your body? He will answer, these were inflicted at the house of my friends. Awaken, O sword, against my shepherd, against the man who is my close associate, declares the Lord Almighty. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered, and I will turn my hand against the little ones. In the whole land, declares the Lord, 2/3 will be cut off and perish, but 1/3 will be left in it. This third I will put through the fire, I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name and I will answer them. I will say they are my people, and they will say, the Lord is our God. Zechariah chapter 14, verses 1-22. A day of the Lord is coming, when plunder taken from you will be divided among you. I will gather all the nations to Jerusalem to fight against it. The city will be captured, the houses will be looted, and the women will be raped. Half of the city will go into exile, but the rest of the people will not be taken from the city. Then the Lord will go out and fight against those nations, as he fights in the day of battle. On that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives, east of Jerusalem, and the Mount of Olives will be split from east to west, forming a great valley, with half of the mountain moving north and half moving south. You will flee by my mountain valley, for it will reach Azel. Yes, you will flee as you fled from the earthquake in the days of Uzziah king of Judah. Then the Lord my God will come, and all the holy ones with him. On that day there will be no light, no cold or frost. It will be a unique day, a day known only to the Lord, with no distinction between day and night. When evening comes, there will be light. On that day living water will flow out from Jerusalem, half of it to the eastern sea, and half to the western sea, in summer and in winter. The Lord will be king over the whole earth. On that day there will be one Lord, and his name the only name. All the land from Geba to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem, will be turned into a plain, but Jerusalem will be raised up high from the Geba lowland to the place of its throne, and it will be inhabited, never again to be destroyed. The Lord will be there, and Jerusalem will be secure. The Lord will give it a plague and make it uninhabited, sweeping death clean away. Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem will be secure. This is the plague with which the Lord will strike all the nations that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh will rot away while they are still standing on their feet. Their eyes will rot away in their sockets, and their tongues will rot away in their mouths. On that day people will be stricken by the Lord with great panic. They will seize each other by the hand and attack one another. Judah will also fight at Jerusalem. The wealth of all the surrounding nations will be collected, gold, silver, and clothing in great abundance. A similar plague will strike the horses and mules, camels and donkeys, and all the animals in those camps. Then everyone who survives from all the nations that have attacked Jerusalem will go up year after year to worship the King, the Lord Almighty, and to celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. And if any of the families of the earth do not go up to Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord Almighty, they will have no rain. If the Egyptian people do not go up and do not come, they will have no rain. The Lord will bring on them the plague he strikes the nations that do not go up to celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. This will be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that do not go up to celebrate the Festival of Tabernacles. On that day holy to the Lord will be inscribed on the bells of the horses, and the cooking pots in the Lord's house will be like the sacred bowls in front of the altar. Every pot in Jerusalem and Judah will be holy to the Lord Almighty, and everyone who comes to sacrifice will be able to use them, and they will be used in every pot in Jerusalem and Judah. And there will no longer be a Canaanite in the land of the Lord.